Hey everyone, this is Mason Hutchison, and you're listening to Herb Rally, your daily herbal podcast. We come out with new episodes every single day, so be sure to check back often. Today's episode is just a little snippet from Christa Sinadinos' Motherwort 201 class, and that's from our membership area called the Herb Rally Schoolhouse. If you'd like to check it out, just go to herbrally.com/schoolhouse. We release new content every single week, new herbalism classes, and so on. And if you want to try your first 30 days for free, just enter coupon code podcast at checkout. Again, that's herbrally.com/schoolhouse. Enter coupon code podcast at checkout, and you could get your first 30 days for free. I'm going to keep it short and sweet today, so I'm going to let you enjoy the snippet from Motherwort 201 with Christa Sinadinos. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. A little bit of housekeeping before we get into the show. The content in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to cure, diagnose, treat, or prevent any disease. This information has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. We are not doctors, nor do we play one on the internet. Please seek advice from a qualified healthcare professional. Okay, MC Calico, take it away.
Yeah. Smoking herbal blends. We need some mullein and some kush, my brethren. While listening to Herb Rally podcast again. Herbalism at its finest with Mason Hutchinson. Yeah.
So we're going to start by talking about motherwort. This is a plant I really love. I grew up in Michigan, and this grew all around the wooded areas of Michigan. So it's been a buddy for more than 30 years. I can't believe it. Anyways, I love growing it in my garden. It's a lovely weedy herb. Its Latin name is Leonuris cardiaca, which translates as lion-hearted, and it is in the mint family or Lamiaceae family. So it has the standard mint family properties of a square stem, opposite leaves along the stem, and then it has pubescent leaves that are mostly palmately shaped, but they range along the stem. So as they get closer to their flowering state, the upper leaves have like 3 lobes, whereas the leaves on the lower portion of the stem have typically 5 to 7 lobes. And I mentioned they're pubescent. And there are a few different stages you can harvest motherwort in, but the time that it is highest in its medicinal properties, especially leonurine and stachydrine, are when the plant is flowering. But it's a little bit of a pain in the ass to harvest it when it's flowering because it has really spiky calyces, and when you strip it off the stem, they poke you. So it's kind of nice to harvest it before it flowers in some ways, and there's not a whole lot of difference medicinally between them other than the stachydrine and leonurine being a little higher, but medicinally and clinically, I haven't observed significant differences in the medicinal properties from when it's flowering or when it's not flowering. Okay, so because this herb is so beautifully bitter, it's a little challenging to consume in tea form, especially as a single herb, so you might want another harmonizing agent. Some people like it in tea, and those are folks who like bitter teas. But I love to tincture it, and that seems to be the easiest way to increase its palatability and get it down pretty quickly. So I usually do a fresh 1 to 2 tincture. Sometimes it ends up being a little higher if it's really bulky. And I'll strip the leaves off of the stem and then just chop them up and macerate them, or chop them up and tincture them, excuse me, you know what I'm saying. Usually 1 to 2, 95% alcohol. You can add a little bit of water if you want a lower alcohol percentage, but the standard is 1 to 2, 95% organic grain alcohol, and you can also do 80% if you don't want it to be as piercingly alcoholic. You can also prepare a 1 to 5 ratio. If you have the recently dried herb, it does lose some potency after the first year, but it's not particularly aromatic, so it doesn't lose a whole lot of its medicinal properties after a year. So anyways, 1 to 5, 60% alcohol. Usually I'll take about 30 to 90 drops of this plant, depending on what I'm using it for, but like 1 to 2 droppers, sometimes 3. So let's talk about some of the medicinal properties of this. So first things first, motherwort is a lovely nervine herb and an anxiolytic, helps ease anxiety. It's a mild to moderate nervine, so it's not extremely sedating, but it's more calming. Most people can consume it during the day. and not be strongly affected by it or deeply sedated from taking it. But I love taking this for when you feel kind of panicked and irritable and agitated and your heart's racing. And it just takes things down a few notches. Like sometimes if I have had like a little too much coffee and I'm a little excited, I need like a few squirts of Motherwort afterward. And it's like I said, takes things down a few notches, but it doesn't cause you to like trip over your words most of the time. So what else? Motherwort is an excellent, so nervine, anxiolytic, good one for mild panic attacks, mild to moderate panic attacks. And because it has such an affinity for the heart and the nervous system, it's sometimes used for individuals who have symptoms of hyperthyroidism. So when people have hyperthyroidism, they are prone to panic attacks, rapid breathing, the heart races or kind of gets out of control. And then they tend to have very fast metabolisms. This doesn't really have a direct impact on the thyroid, but it does help to calm the symptoms if somebody's feeling anxious and really hot-bodied and irritable. And it can be used tonically, and it's not going to interfere with thyroid medications or hormones, but it is a good long-term tonic treatment for individuals who have hyperthyroidism. And it doesn't do much for Graves' disease, which is a more serious form of hyperthyroidism. So it's almost more that constitutional picture where somebody's got, a hyperthyroidal person might be very warm-bodied. They're very thin and muscular, almost like a Vata type person or a more catabolic person. But catabolic people are cold and thin, whereas a person with hyperthyroid is going to be warm, muscular, sweaty, and they have an appetite, like an incredible appetite and an amazing digestive tract. Like they can eat, I might be rambling a little bit, but they can eat meat, proteins. They have really hearty digestion. They're more like a lion, like sleek, strong, muscular, and sweaty. So, or you get like I always think of like mildly hyperthyroidal males, where they're like really hot in bed. I'm going the wrong direction. They're very warm, sweaty. They sweat body wide, not just from the armpits and groin. So that's more of a thyroid picture. Warm bodied all throughout, sweats body wide, not just from the armpits, muscular, high appetite, a little on the anxious side, with the tendency for revved up nervous system. So that would be a great place to use Motherwort tonically for people of any gender.